Oh, can you
Hi,
hear me?
welcome to the stream. We're getting started here.
Maybe not.
All right, it's going pretty well. Sorry, just had to hit the button on
No
my streaming thing. So
worries. Good, good. Okay, let's see here.
should be quite an interesting match.
Yeah, this is I like how the draft and I think these are really balanced. Or it could be, depending on how things go.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways that things could go.
We'll see. We'll see. Um, yeah, I just got to think about some order markers quick. Like,
You mean you didn't spend a lot of time thinking about them in advance? Da-da-da-da-da-da.
not as much as I probably should have. Sure, let's go with that. Roll the dice. See what happens. Well, good luck.
You as well.
All right, you
Interesting.
take it.
Okay, so he is leading with the teeth. Not what I would have hoped for, but I can work with it.
Okay. First turn's on the Makwa Tribesman. It's 5 move. That guy's on level 2, right?
Yeah, all the Ashura are on level 2 except the one behind the ruin.
Excellent. Okay. I have an attack of 2. Excellent. Wow. Incredible. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'll get to move 6 Makwa 3 spaces each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
About leading with the uh, I thought about leading with the caucus, but I was just concerned about what could happen.
Okay. Second turn's on the Teeth of the Makwa.
Where are the glyphs on there? Level 2 sand. Okay. Vivalda. And Winnick.
Mhm. Okay.
Assume it's on teeth.
So my third turn's on the Tribesman.
Oh, that was. fine.
believe
Yeah,
can roll
actually.
up to here. Shoot down on this Ashra is a 3v3.
Yep.
Oh, snap. And then I can attack the Ashra on Wanek as well.
Hold up. Maybe you let me read the card.
The additional attack target must target a figure that is within 3 spaces of a hunter you control. Yeah,
Okay, 3 spaces about I thought they had to be adjacent, but nope, we're good.
yeah. Okay, so it's another 3v3. Okay. And then I get the Makwa activations. 3, 3, 2, 3, 5,
There's a very real argument. I need to switch
and
over to caucus.
6. All right. That is round. So you get Wanek. Big fire elemental goes down.
You have cute big elemental.
What do you? I got a 3. With the grenade, right?
Yep, grenade first.
Yep. We hit it. So they're all going to have 2 defense
-1.
still.
Mhm.
So the 2 on height, 2 is on, 1's next jungle. So they both have all of 2 defense. So we'll go center guy first.
This
Get
is
shield. Does not. Guy behind the ruin. And guy next to jungle. Okay.
so this is going to be a 3-on-2.
Yep. Shield. Success.
And this is going to be a
3-on-3.
3-on-3.
Okay. What were thoughts on line of sight to this Asher? Just curious.
Going to be a bit tricky. If it was 1 space further, well, it is the low part of the ruin.
Well, that kind of looks like a no to me.
Okay, then yeah, probably not.
Consider my other options. And we'll roll it there. Okay. So first, down on Valda, 4v3. Okay. Then we'll go down on this Kakakis 4v4. I think that's what I want. Realistically, doesn't matter. We'll start with this. Actually, do be careful here. What I do. Care Kakakis at this point. I'm gonna attack down on the Asher actually. Yeah, no. Okay, sorry. Down on the Caucus. No. Wow. Indecisive today. 4v3 on the Astra automatic. Okay. And then we will throw this attack into this Caucus 4v4. Okay. That'll do.
Do we think I can see that guy from there?
Well, the grenade lob doesn't require.
Yeah, but
Uh,
I'm just thinking about my actual attack
oh,
though.
let's. I think your head's sticking far enough out that it's a possibility. That's a very badly drawn line. I think yeah, you can see his foot.
Okay.
If I had finagled him around further back, maybe not, but no, I think you can.
Can I see the tribesman?
Uh, can this guy with a normal attack?
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Okay, cool. That was the question. The special
Okay.
don't matter. 4v3.
Mm-hmm. Shield. Okay, that's gone.
3v3.
Mm-hmm. shield. Okay.
3 teeth down, 3 Asher down, and elemental.
Mm.
I think I'm in a slightly better spot. Oh, I should have shot the one that was next to a tree, but oh well.
Okay. Start with this attack. Be a 4v4. Okay. 4v4 here. Not what we wanted. 3v3 here. Okay, we got something. Yep.
Pretty sure I can do this.
You definitely can. They're not effective, but they can still be attacked by it. All right, so we've got 2 defense up here first. And 2 defense here. Okay, shield. Got it. Okay, 3v2. Shield. This. 3v3. 3v2.
Now you have height.
Shield.
Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
but the
Oh,
gas
right.
grenade
The
hit him, so
gas,
he
right.
was -1.
Forgot about the gas.
Yep.
Okay, I feel pretty good
Okay.
about this. I've killed 5 of his teeth.
On the caucus, 3v3. This caucus, 4v3. Okay. I got Wannick.
Conflict doesn't have any way to heal, right? No. He's definitely got a lot of things left to do that he gets
Okay.
to start.
Big initiative.
Assuming he's on the
Nice to win
teeth.
that.
I don't know if it's big. I was fine either way.
Whoops. Line of sight. I already ask this, didn't I? I did.
Yeah, I think it's the forward one I feel pretty good about. Not sure. Yeah, that one I
Are
feel
you
pretty good about.
sure?
Yep.
Really? Are you sure?
Because you're closer and it's the shorter part of the ruin.
Okay, well, if you're okay with it, I will be doing that. So let's start here, 4v3 on this Astra. Okay, 44 on the Caucasus. Caucasus? I don't know. Oh my goodness. And 4v4 on this Astra. Okay. Hmm.
Yeah, I think that's the play out. Well, no.
Oh, wow.
What effective turns for us?
No, I was fully expecting them to be dead. And I really, realistically, I had to, given the possibility for losing initiative.
I get it. I can see that one, right?
Oh, definitely. If I can see the Asher behind the wall, you can definitely peek around and see. Shield coming in clutch, I suppose. Just one attack. I'll attack this caucus. 3v3. Excellent. All right, going straight to shield. Wow. Oh, whoa.
Well, you block it, so you know.
Yep, I'll take it. All right. Why not? What? That was such a weird round.
Yeah, yeah, it was.
Okay, so I got Wannick. Wonder where that's going. Okay, fair enough.
Go.
Sure, sure, sure. Okay. Starting here, 3v3. Okay. Take the swing on the Astra, 3v3. All right, and then we'll go into onto the cock. No, we'll go into cock.
Sure. Base defense, dude. 3. Oof, that hurts.
Okay. Not the character that I necessarily want whiffing, but you know, I'll take it.
What a good turn. What a good turn.
I know. Back to back, just wonderfully good turns. Let's see here. Take those two and develop another one, probably. 4, 5, 6. See. I'll just fling a guy up there and then take our 2 attacks. Let's go here. And we'll swing into the ash right here. Actually, no. Cop. Okay. Maybe.
Yep, that's the right call.
One, that's two. No.
Atlantic is being kind of painful at the moment.
Okay. Here first. Here. Then here. Okay. All right. Wanick.
Hit a 1. Nope. Caucus are less valuable to me at the moment. Okay, so he's going to win another initiative. I think it's on PKs. Yep. Still got a lot of these dudes to kill.
Start here. Maybe that's pointless. Just attack here. Here. So you guys just careful or you can find anything? Yeah. And these 1-for-3s are really killing the Yeah, it's not going well.
Yeah, you're having slightly better defensive luck than me, but
Yeah.
also I have Ashra, so
Yeah, well, it's more that like I feel like all of your attacks with the Astra so far, bar like one, has been 1 for 3 skulls, which is just going to be have a hard time getting through the PKs.
yeah. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. Yeah, this is not over. Astra are good. Let's see. I want that attack. I want that attack, and we're gonna develop. Okay, attack forward Astra and this Astra. Oh, there's a blank.
Hey, it's got to work sometimes.
Exactly. Okay, there you go. 2 kills. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Stop grabbing the map, Titus. Okay, here. Hmm,
Scary.
Okay, Wannick.
Oh my
That's
gosh,
that
that's
that could be
that's
game over right there.
that's very big.
Oh, that was really, really horrible. Okay, that could be the game. We'll see. Hmm. Okay.
Good.
Trackhawk.
Go.
Okay. Just familiarize myself here. Okay. Two, three, four, five, six. Eight. Okay. On this Kakakis. On Ka. Jeez. Okay.
Doing the smoky bomb.
Yeah, yeah. Ooh, big 4 out of 4.
There's no kill like overkill.
Yeah, that one Wannick is killing me. Oh wow. Okay, well, that took a real quick turnaround.
Since I can't see the PK.
Yeah. Hmm. Well, that's just a dead tribesman.
You do get to roll for Great Bear.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he has that. And it's even better. It's 14 IR or something, right? Well, 12, isn't it? So consolation prize. Okay.
Should have this, but as we know, this game could still go in a number of places. I think I have to go all in on Caucus. Well, he's definitely gonna probably win initiative. Yep, it's the right call.
Ah,
Lob.
yep. Oh, well. Alrighty then.
I'm just out of range. I can't shoot your
Yeah.
tooth.
Well, I lost my second turn, so you can go for it again.
Game.
Well played. Good game.
Yeah, the Wannick definitely shifted things, but I also do feel like I still, even if you'd gotten the Wannick,
I think it was not so much getting the Wannick wound as much as that Phantom Knight dying.
yeah, that's very fair. Is that yeah, it drop you down to what, a squad of phantoms at that point?
Um,
Or did it drop you down below a
something
squad?
something like that. I think it was. It might have been below us. No, I think it was down to a squad.
Yeah. Because I mean, one of the key things was that I was realizing like late game Cock could be an absolute nightmare. And so that's kind of one of the things why I stopped putting Wannick wounds on him and started shifting him
Yeah.
over to Caucus because they were less good against the Phantoms. But
Hmm. Hmm.
um, he ended up being really clutch in the end game because yeah, no, it was interesting because like I definitely debated leading caucus because I thought you might lead with the teeth, but my thought process was essentially if you lead with teeth or if you lead with phantoms, I'm gonna feel best if I have Astra there, just because if I have
Yeah.
phantom if I lead caucus and you lead phantoms, I do not feel good about that. Whereas if you lead if you lead teeth and I lead Astra, I don't love it.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
I
that's how.
felt yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I think you'll expect me to go phantoms, which means you won't lead caucus. And I was like, well, I'd rather have teeth into Ashra, so I'll just go for the hard like read and see if I get it right. Which I was happy that I did, but I don't know. I don't think I did enough with it.
So one of the things is that when I saw that, you'll notice I was a bit cautious with my ash replacements and put them all in places where it was hard for you to get at me, except for the ones that I grabbed to like Valda and Wanik, because I was like,
Yeah.
well, might as well make the most of what I have here. But
Hmm.
I don't want to commit my whole forces to it. And then I was like, well, he's got the teeth, so he's probably going to keep on the teeth. And if I win initiative, I can get some good grenades in. So
Yeah.
we're just going to go over to caucus and see how. So yeah, it was definitely one of those things where there was a lot of little interplays and stuff that I felt had to kind of sort itself out there.
Yeah. It was a very fun game. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Pretty
Yeah,
close
yeah, yeah.
there.
The Wanik loss, I think, shift because at that point, I think it was still kind of in the 50-50 range as to which way it could go.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
the
Because
Wanik
at that
wound,
point, go
yeah.
for it.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna say something similar to what you were gonna say is that we both had roughly the same number. Like we both had a hero left. Mine was better, but yours was in a better position. We both had
Hmm.
roughly the same number of units left that um I had more units than you, but more of my units were bad against the phantoms.
Yeah, exactly. Because you only had two Asher left at that point, so it was like
Yeah, it's
the.
like do I try and do I put another wound on a caucus? Do I put the wound on where do I put that wound? I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't love any of my options,
Yeah, it's a
and you
really tough
having
call.
another yeah, and you having another phantom to work with means that I have to kind of get a bit I have to get a particular route. Yeah, no, you did a great job keeping me off Wanek. You saw exactly what I was trying to do there, and you just yeah, I was having a real hard time getting to you, and yeah,
Yeah, I'm not sure what I could have done, what I should have done differently. I felt like I played a pretty solid game all told.
yeah, it was solid. I think
Maybe that third order marker, turn one, should have been teeth. Maybe just once on the tribesman and then two on teeth would have been better than tribesman.
yeah, I honestly yeah when I saw the third order marker was on tribesman, I was like, oh, that's much better for me.
Yeah, I guess my thought process was in case you lead Ashra and you go like hyper slow roll, I can get more out of a third order marker on him than on the teeth. But
Fair. It's
I
one of
think
those.
hindsight, it makes more sense to go teeth two and three.
It's just yeah. It's like it's basically the yeah. It's tricky to say, and also the fact that you yeah, and you definitely went into the start zone and started attacking Ka, which I thought was a really solid move. Because you
Hmm.
you rightly figured that I was kind of waiting for stuff to clear out, and then Ka could just because Kaz gets me a functional double attack, and it's
Yeah.
better than the tribesman's double attack.
Hmm.
Um, and if I get a good hit on the tribesman, I can probably just kill him. Like
Exactly. He's
poison
not doing a
weapons
whole
doesn't do
lot.
anything against the other heroes, and like and if you try and swarm me with like phantoms, it's gonna be like, well, that's okay. I'm fine with that. That's double attack for me.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so yeah. But I think running into the start zone and attacking him was good because it then made my choices harder.
Hmm.
Um, And one of the things is that I think you might have noticed that I avoided a couple of attacks on phantoms when I and chose to attack teeth instead.
Oh, I think that was absolutely the right
Oh
call.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was basically the look. Phantoms are bad into Astra, so I'm gonna take the attacks on the sleeping teeth while I can. So,
Exactly, because the teeth are dangerous in game. Plus, the one up on the top right side was blocking your path to Wanik pretty effectively, anyways. So
hmm.
he was definitely the one that had to go.
Yeah. So it was just like I got to make these moves. It's funny because uh, I know Grey Waves made the comment about teeth being more durable than like three defense squads, but like
They're not because you have to, well, at least, well, maybe mathematically they are, but like that for me, I've always felt that two defense shield is a lot worse because you have to rely on the D20 way more than with three defense.
I think what it probably is it's probably much more variancy. And if you
Exactly.
if you get a couple of early shield rolls, it feels really good.
Hmm.
And if you just don't get a bunch of shield rolls early game, like you notice like I was able to start blitzing through you pretty quickly because you weren't yeah, I think you got what, two or three?
I think I got three. Yeah.
That sounds about average, but again, it's kind of like dividers where you can't really predict where they're gonna come
Yeah, I think dividers are a little more consistent
because
theoretically
three
because
defense.
well, three defense, but also you get a guy. It's to block the wound and get a guy back, as opposed
Yeah.
to the Mako, which is probably to survive.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where yeah, the I think the higher your base defense, the more a stealth armor type ability feels really good. Like it's probably
Yeah.
the reason like the Mantis have a base defense of 4 and a stealth armor of 12, which
Yes.
that's very good. Whereas
Yeah.
so that's kind of my thought process on that. I think at least because like I keep every time that I've played with or against the teeth, they just don't feel as durable as the three defense squads, and I think the reason is that variance. And
Hmm.
I'm sure if I was to get on the bad end of that variance, I'd feel very bad about it. But I think that with the lower defense, it also means that yeah, like you said, you're relying on the d20 more, so you're making more rolls for the shield of the great bear, which means you're going to probably fail it more, I think.
Hmm.
Whereas I think with some of these three and four, I think if they had three defense they'd feel much better. I mean, I think they're good. I think they're what
Yeah.
how I kind of view the teeth is um I think how I view the teeth is their offense is what really makes them valuable. That
Hmm.
three attack from range, I think, is what makes them feel really good.
Yeah.
Whereas you
Plus, the
can't,
free movement can be really handy.
yeah, and you can't rely on their defensive abilities, but when you get it, it's good. Like it feels good when you get it, but it's one of those things where I don't think that you can yeah, I think I like them. They're a solid unit.
Hmm.
I think that you can't rely on the defense as much as you can with like a three defense figure.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. Exactly.
so yeah, that's my take on it. I think
Hmm.
mathematically it probably works out like average wise, but that's the thing with averages is that I don't know how familiar you are with the example of where it's like you've got like a group of five people and four of them have $100 and one person has $1 million, and like the average is something like, let's see with that real quick, it would be something like everyone's got like $200,000 on average, which is
Yeah. Yeah.
very much not the real situation. So I, I
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that might be what's going on here is that average wise it's probably the same. What
Hmm.
variance wise and how it feels is different. So I don't
Yeah.
know. It'll be interesting to see how this goes throughout the season as I kind of get more play in with them. But that's just been my observation every time that I've played with or
Yeah. No,
yeah,
I
with
think I
Steve.
completely agree with that. It's one of those things that it also probably gets better in larger numbers. Like the more teeth you have, the more times you roll it, the more times you
Yeah,
succeed.
yeah, that also makes sense. And the problem is that the teeth aren't a great swarm army.
No, they're just a little bit too expensive for that.
So I
Like,
think really I think this is roughly the right number of teeth, but I think you basically have to play your teeth as if you are expecting to die the next turn. It's kind of
hmm
a
yep,
little bit like Vipers, I think, in some way, where it's like, I am making this move, but I am fully expecting to not have this unit next turn.
yeah,
So at least that's my read on it. I don't know. And when the D20s go your way, it's gonna feel really good. But
hmm
yeah, no, I think that again, the draft itself, like it's one of those things where it's tricky to say. Like I said, I thought the Harks there was an argument, but I felt the teeth were slightly better just because you have more, especially on this map.
hmm
Um, you're gonna have more attacks of 4v3 into Ashra.
yeah,
And yeah, I think that really the big things that happened in this game was I think I sequenced a slightly bit better than you did because
hmm
I got to play Caucus into Teeth more
yeah,
than you got to play Teeth into Ashra, and I think
hmm
I think that was probably play wise the biggest determinant. But it was very much a game that could have gone either direction.
yeah. I'd agree with that. I'm not sure how I play it better to get what that
So I
because
think
because I do. I guess I just have to push more for the Valda side
So,
than.
yeah, a couple of things is potentially is if you like, and it's one of those things where it's like hard to figure out. Like, you essentially, the question is, in round two, when I shift over to entirely caucus, if you had shifted over entirely to phantoms, that would have felt really bad for me. And the question is, could you have necessarily seen that I was going to make that shift? And I don't know. I
I
don't
guess
know.
I suppose. I guess I was just worried. I worry with that like you get to just kill all my frontline troops for free
Sure. The
while I
other
develop my
thing that
PKs.
the other thing that you run into is if you guess wrong and I have Ashra all on my order markers, it feels really bad for you. So it's one of those
Yeah.
things where it's like essentially the question of could you have anticipated me better? Maybe. And it's one of
hmm
those things where but if you had guessed if you'd made the right play there and then I'd done something different, it's really difficult to say what would have
Yeah.
happened there because but I think really what it came down to, especially in these kind of rock papery scissor type things, the person who usually wins is usually the person that got the most attacks, most matchups that they wanted.
That makes sense.
And I think I was able to get that a little bit better.
You definitely did.
It's one of those things though where it's like what necessarily can you do on the other end of things, and it's again it's one of those things that's not easy to say, because there's a lot of little things. Like obviously the one on Wannock, but also all my 1 to 3s into Phantom Knights as well.
Yeah. hmm
So like there's I don't know if the dice what are the final dice scores.
So I was just a little under attack, a little
Yeah,
under D.
yeah, it looks like yeah, and I was slightly above on both, but like and you rolled slightly more dice than me, which is
Yeah.
although to be fair, the maxim of whoever rolls more dice wins is usually when there's a big discrepancy, and 8 dice
Yeah.
is not a big discrepancy. Plus, you
No.
also have the fact that my defensive numbers are also affected by the fact that there's plenty of there was at least 3 or 4 Ashra rolls where had they not been Ashra, they would have died.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. Yeah. I think
and I
pushing more for the to stop you from getting that Valda play early would have helped.
yeah, yeah,
Switching
because
all over to PKs round two would have been better. Not making the Makwa Tribesman Order Marker 3 would have been better. And
e-
then
even
I think,
an interesting
oh,
thought. Even if you'd gone 1-2 Makwa and then third PKs, I think that's a reasonable like
mm,
shift.
hmm That would make sense.
So, and then what you
Mm,
do when you see that I've all gone in on Caucus, um, you probably just charge forward with your teeth and kill Astra,
hmm
kind of force me to do that. And so that might have been the better way to play it a bit more aggressively there. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
I could see it.
tricky. Me also me winning the initiative with Valda was what allowed me to be able to move a
Yeah,
caucus up and
for
hit
sure.
you with the
The
grenade.
grenade into three, yeah, which I played around the grenade fairly well, except for that, and then setting you up to gas your own caucus. I should have done better with not playing around that, or
I
not
mean,
playing.
it's so hard to block that particular move, but that move is
Yeah,
also one that is tricky for the caucus player because most of the time you have to sacrifice a caucus to not sacrifice, you basically
put
can't.
them in a bad position if you don't get those
Yeah,
kills.
yeah,
Absolutely, yeah.
so it's one of those things that I don't think it's as bad to not have played around, but I definitely there was definitely opportunities where I was like, yeah, we're gonna do that because
Yeah.
we can just do that and get away with it. So,
hmm
yeah, but that's kind of yeah, it's one of those things where I think anything that would have uh for lack of a better phrase, plays that would have won you the game, I think it's all kind of on the margins. And I think that's kind of true for me as well. Like, could I have
hmm
played things better? Again, it's stuff that I feel like I don't think either of us made any glaring issues. This is all things that are just kind of
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I'm not saying that like,
could
oh,
this
all
placement have
those.
better? Yeah, no, and I think it's good to look for those things. I do think that it's one of those things where you kind of have to dig a little bit to locate it because it's one of those more like it's not like,
Nuanced.
what were you gonna say?
It's more nuanced than you shouldn't have put that guy there.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
shouldn't have made that attack or put all order markers on there. Yeah, it's much more nuanced than that, and
Yeah.
that's important because I think, especially for me with draft, most of the time I feel like I get out drafted. I don't necessarily feel like I got out drafted this time. I felt like the armies were fairly even. It's just I need to
Yeah.
be playing. I need to get better with playing these sorts of pod armies where it's like half and half because I'm very comfortable playing a fully cohesive army. Um, and so figuring out when to swap to your other half in anticipation is a really good thing for me to start considering because I definitely don't do that.
Yeah,
Because I'm like, well, I've
sequencing
got these guys developed. I'm going to use them.
sequencing is definitely a learned hero skip skill. I think it's one that I'm better at than the average person. So that tends to also help me in these draft formats, as I can
Mhm.
usually be like, okay, what sort of end game am I fighting for?
Yeah.
And um
I think at this point, I'm familiar enough with the game and the figures to know what to look for in that regard. It's just making those decisions to be like, okay, those three teeth that I have developed, we're not going to worry about them. They're going to get taken out, but we're doing it for the cause of switching over to the rock to beat my opponent's scissors kind of thing.
yeah, yeah, it's one of those things where it's definitely, yeah, as you kind of, yeah, I mean I basically, as you saw when I moved over to the caucus, I was basically like, Lavalda and Wanik, Astra are gonna die, and I've just set myself to accepting that fact. And if they
Yeah.
live longer, great, wonderful. Wasn't planning on it, but now I can do something with it. So yeah, and
Mhm.
I do think sequencing is very important for draft games because you do kind of have to, because yeah, you're usually playing with a less cohesive army. And you have to be like, okay, I need to make sure that this matchup happens. I need to make sure that this matchup doesn't happen. Or if it
Yeah.
does, it happens as little as possible. And figuring out that exact sequencing is definitely a tricky skill. And
Yeah.
mhm. Oh yeah, I think you did fine on the draft. I thought the draft was like it was basically exactly what I would have done in your position. Like I said, I would have contemplated for a little bit about the uh
Harks over teeth.
Harks over teeth. And the big reason why I would have considered the Harks is Grax could be really good in this matchup
hmm
because good stats are good stats.
This is true.
So, but like I think if it was like a lava map, I would have been a lot more inclined to go that way.
Oh yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
So, but here it was less like here it was more like, this map is bumpy enough. This map is There's trees, so range is less good than normal.
Mhm.
So honestly, having the better attack feels better. So
Yeah.
that was I think that was the right play. I'm trying to think if I think I don't know if picking first is the right call because I think your pods are slightly better than mine. So you
Mm-hmm.
might almost want to be the person grabbing two from that.
Yeah.
Um,
That's a good point. I was
and
just like,
so
man, I think PKs are really
that
good into all of your pods
that is the
because
thing. PKs were just really good in general in that. Like the Astra were
yeah.
the only thing that really countered them, and there were
Mhm.
three different range pods as well, and I
Yeah.
can only grab one of them in response. So it's one of those things where it's like I don't know if it's because I was slightly happier with what I had going into your stuff,
Mm.
but it was not something where I was like, oh, I definitely feel like I've got the edge here. It was one of those
Yeah.
things where I was like, I feel like I can play some games with this. I feel like I feel
Mhm.
like I feel like I have an edge, but it's not a major edge. And it's one of those things that's yeah, it's just I I do think whoever picks first has to take the PKs. And
Yeah.
I think that then the other person has to grab Ashra because if you don't, you're gonna really struggle with stuff into the PKs. And then
Hmm.
I just felt like the caucus are the best next best option because one, they got a special attack, and two, they've got the highest normal attack, and also three, um,
The longest range.
well, they tie with the Harks, but
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
longest range, but also the fact that that grenade into your Ashra also feels bad. Um,
Mm.
I don't love having only 8 figures, but it still feel pretty good. And then again, it's one of those things where the map is going to kind of determine whether the Makwa or the um uh or
Arc
the Hark
pod.
pod is the better one.
Yeah.
I don't like the KDN pod is fine. It's just bad in this particular matchup because it doesn't play well into PKs and it doesn't play well into Ashra. And
Or even the caucus at that point.
it plays decent into the caucus just
Yeah, it's just
because.
going to be hard to get the healing off with the grenade.
Oh yeah. You're probably not healing much if at all. So yeah, it doesn't play. But and the thing is, you can almost be guaranteed that the PKs are going to be in one army and the Ashra are going to be in another army.
Yeah.
So you're so you're bad into both of those no matter what. So it yeah, it's just it was not a good pod for this particular matchup.
Hmm.
But I don't feel like yeah, so I feel like overall you're essentially choosing from those last two pods and neither of them are bad. They're just both slightly less good than the other things and it's one of those things where it's very but I mean again, I do think that I think the when we finished that draft, it was very close to even. Like I said, I get
Definitely.
like my edge that I felt I had was more just in that I felt like I had more tools that I could work with, but I did not feel like, oh, I'm definitely gonna win this game unless the dice hate me. I definitely felt like there is a lot of ways this can go bad.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
So
think I'll need to do a better job of analyzing the fact that while, yes, in this matchup, the PKs were really good into everything, it also meant that you got two pods that were also better than everything except the PKs,
yeah,
or
and
at
it's
least
one of
played better into the other, and so I think
yeah.
that's something I need to get better about considering with these draft formats as well. Is like, yeah, I might get this one pod that's really good, but my opponent gets the other two that are also good and have some good play into it. So I need to make sure I don't get blinders on when I'm thinking about, well, this is clearly the best, so I should have
Well, I
that.
mean, you remember when I was talking about Sir Heroescape's Raylan pod?
Yeah.
And so like there it's like, yeah, you can draft Raylan in Q10, which is really good by itself.
Hmm.
And your opponent can grab two pods that work really nicely together. The problem
Yeah.
is basically what's on the flip end. Does something work really well with Raylan? And if it
Hmm.
doesn't, if what you have works mediocrely with Raylan, then it's very arguable that the Roman the Romans and 10th are the better call there. But if you have something that works really good with them, then it's not. Whereas it's not quite the extreme that as with you've got here. I do think the PKs are slightly better than your other two pods, but
Hmm.
it's not an extreme level.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I do think that's one of the things that you want to figure out if you have the choice to pick first or second is play out both ends of the draft and figure out which side do I like better and go from
Yeah.
there. So, and yeah, it's tricky. And then, it's assuming that you read your opponent right. Cause I've definitely had times where I've been like, gosh, I think I've like deferred. And I'm like, all right, so my opponent's going to grab the first really good pod. And then they grab something completely different. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess I know what I'm doing now. And then I've had things where I've misread a thing and I was like, oh yes, no, this is or yeah, your opponent can surprise you both positively and negatively. Like there's definitely been times where I've made a draft move and then my opponent followed up and I just kind of thought about it for a second and it was like, oh no, I made a mistake. And
Yeah.
it's a learning experience and it's one of those things you just the more you do it, the better you get at it. That's
Yeah. That's the thing is I've played so much like double blind or bring one, bring two, whatever.
mhm,
But like drafts, I've done very little.
yeah.
So
And
it's fun to do though, and I'm enjoying it.
oh yeah,
It's
no.
been
Draft and draft like events are like my favorite just
yeah.
cuz again, I get to do weird nonsense. So,
Like the
but yeah.
league has also been a ton of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it is it's not late here because we're both on the Pacific Coast,
Yep.
but
But yeah,
I should probably
oh,
I should probably go make food.
sounds good.
Alrighty. Well, thanks for the game.
Yep.
Catch you
Good.
around.
See you
Bye.
later.